Good morning, beautiful people. How y'all doing this morning? I just want to hop on here real quick. And today is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So I was going to hop on here and give my story about that day. Just because I remember it so vividly, it kind of actually even plays a part of now, of like my moniker, the Blueprint, because that album, obviously Jay-Z's Blueprint album, came out September 11, 2001. Well, I was 18. Working for Villa Park Post Office, delivering mail for Villa Park Post Office. Me, my cousin Davey, and our older cousin Tasha, who actually like plugged us with the job. Like I said, I was 18, about to be 19 the next month. Waking up a regular Tuesday, more anticipating the album release than going to work. Obviously, like it was 20 years ago, so albums came out on Tuesdays. Yes, actual albums that you had to like go to the store and buy, wait in line if it was a anticipated album. Like the Blueprint, the Jay-Z album was anticipated, not so much in Chicago, but like on the East Coast more or less. When this was back when, if the album was hot in your city and it was coming out, you had to probably stand in line outside, make sure you got a copy that day, stuff like that. Way different now, social media, all of that. But anyway, yeah, like I said, so I'm up getting ready for work. My cousin Davey's still in his room sleep, gonna make us late as usual. And I didn't see the first plane fly into the building, but we saw like the aftermath, like everything was breaking news. So obviously, I forgot who else was downstairs. I want to say like maybe my cousin Isha was down there, but whoever, like we're watching it, like it's breaking news. We think it's an accident. We're like, man, a plane just flew into the World Trade Centers. I'd be lying if I even said I really knew what the World Trade Centers was back then. Like I said, I was 18. But I knew it was a building in New York. I knew it was two of them. Had been in New York. Really had just came back from New York. Like, I don't know if it was the week before or I don't quite remember. I had to like try to find some pictures and see, but I just came back from New York taking pictures. I have pictures of the World Trade Centers like a month or a week or so before they went down. Like I was working at the post office. I had took pictures. There's a famous post office in New York, in Manhattan. Took pictures of that. That was destroyed. But anyway, like I said, so I go in there. I wake my cousin up. I'm like, cuz plane just flew into the World Trade Centers in New York. Ooh, he was basically like, why you waking me up? Like I still got a little bit of time to sleep, whatever. What they got to do with me, and went back to sleep or whatever. So we still watching. Now we see a second plane. Now we saw live the second plane fly into the building. So at this point now we're like, okay, this on purpose now. So I went in, woke cuz up. He got up this time. So now we all looking. Work is over with. We ain't going into the post office today. As the second plane goes into the building, now as everyone's realizing like it's a terrorist attack, they start talking about other planes crashing into the Pentagon, planes potentially coming towards the World Trade Center. I mean the Sears Tower, which it was still the Sears Tower back then. I think it's like Willis Towers now, whatever that is. But so they're evacuating downtown. People are calling people to try to make sure everybody's straight. Everybody that does work downtown, that making sure they're getting out. It's crazy. It's hectic. I'm glad it wasn't any social media back then, because that probably would have, if social media was exactly how it is now, 20 years ago when that happened, it probably would have been one of the worst days in American history. Like, because the way social media just spreads everything, perpetuates everything, and it would have been crazy. But yeah, so we're watching. Like I said, no one's going into work. I don't remember how long we were there watching, but like I said, it was sad. It was sad. We watched the first building fall. We watched the second building fall. I just remember the mood was just real like sad. Like you see you can see these people dying, because you just knew how many people were in those buildings. You knew they weren't fully evacuated. You knew, like, it was certain things that was common sense. Where the planes hit the buildings, that you pretty much knew everyone above where those planes hit. It just was kind of like a lost cause. It's still sad when you think about it. I don't even like really seeing the video of the planes actually going into the buildings, or those buildings falling or anything like that. And we weren't in New York, and like I said, this isn't during social media time, so New York's worlds away from Chicago 20 years ago. And and that was that. Like I said, it was just a somber day. I don't know why, but it was, like I said, it was a random Tuesday. I don't know why I remember everything, but there was some Hooters wings from like the Sunday before or something like that upstairs. So like we're warming up Hooters wings in the oven, not the microwave. Keep that. We're warming up Hooters wings. Hooters tastes way better 20 years ago too, by the way. And we all just like talking and stuff like that. And then but we do remember that the Jay-Z album's coming out. Now I'll be honest, I was really anticipating the album, but I didn't like make plans to go get it or anything like that. I was working, you know what I'm saying? I was working, but I knew who would have the album. I know who would have the album, and that was Jabari. I don't know how I ended up with Jabari later on that evening or whatever. I don't know how I ended up with them, or honestly where we ended up. But I know the night ended with me sitting in his Lumina, his gold Lumina, or as like most people say, his aluminum, his Chevy aluminum. Listening to that album like 2-3 times in a row. Like, it's the first album. I was 18. I was a Jay-Z fan, a big Jay-Z fan, but not quite a stan. Like, not quite like really understanding like what it was. The blueprint, that album really like was really that. It was really a blueprint to what he had done, what he was gonna do, what you should do. And that was 20 years ago. 20 years later, I mean, he's a billionaire. He's done everything in every album that he said he was gonna do, and such. But like I said, back then it was more focused on, like, I know Jabari, he was more focused on like production. Like, the production was crazy on the album. The wordplay, obviously, it was just ahead of his time. Like I said, it was 20 years ago. It was really ahead of his time. Everything on that album still relates to today. Period. Like, the album hasn't aged. Like, so it was just a timeless era. That day, that album, and not trying to just like constantly like relate the day to the album, but like I said, before we knew the tragedy that would happen on 9/11, I was looking forward to that day because of the album. You know what I'm saying? Even at the time, just like, what was like, it was like, guilty until proven innocent, or not guilty, whatever the name of that song with him and R. Kelly. It was a lot going on. It was a lot of drama with Kales in the city at that time too. Not the drama he's going through now, but it was still drama with Kales in the city. It was just, like I said, it was a crazy time. And who would knew, like what I was, like I said, I was 18, getting ready to be 19 the next month. And who knew, like, fast forward a year later, my daughter would be born September 10th, 2002. So on the 1 year anniversary eve of 9/11, I had my first child. So it was kind of like everything within that little era was just crazy, epic, memorable. And you know what I'm saying? I just want to hop on here and share that moment with you guys, share that day with you guys, because a lot of you guys watching aren't 20 or you're in your 20s, which means you really don't remember 9/11 actually happening, which is crazy. Like, even making this video, I don't know if my daughter even knows about this day or knows about the time around when she was conceived and stuff like that, or like she can just go back in books. I don't know if they don't have books really, but I don't know if like in school, if this is part of history yet. I don't know how long history has to be or how far back history has to be before they start like dealing with it in school and stuff like that. I haven't been in school in 20 years, 20 plus years. So like I said, it was just a very eventful day, very memorable. Like I said, I don't remember all the details, but I definitely remember where I was, what I was about to do, and what happened, like, you know, sporadically throughout that day. And I definitely remember that album. Yeah, that was about it, man. 9/11, 20 years later. It If this is what 20 years feels like in your adult life, man, I'm gonna be 58 real soon, because that 20 years just flew by. When I just really think about it, it really feels like yesterday. 20 years. My oldest child is 19. Yesterday. But like I said, man, I ain't gonna hold y'all too much. I just really want to share that little quick story with y'all. More content to come soon. Love you guys. Until next time, follow the blueprint. Peace.